Well, hello again, everyone, and welcome to Game 1 of the Stanley Cup playoffs for the St. Louis Blues as we are in beautiful Winnipeg, Manitoba, alongside Joe Vitale. I'm Darren Pang, and really looking forward to it. I mean, just being in this position where the Blues started off and having a chance to come in here to Winnipeg, one of the great playoff venues in the entire National Hockey League, this should be a beauty.
I'm excited. You know, you see the blue paint, Stanley Cup playoffs on the ice. That's why you play the game as a player. We're in Winnipeg right now. You got all the Jets Go Jets signs up on the windows and the businesses across the city. The energy, you feel it in the city. You're going to feel it here tonight as well. So, and this is why you play. This is why you play the game. I'm geeked up. I'm excited. I got goosebumps on a broadcast. I can't imagine what these players are going through right now.
Well, you've done some regular season games here, and I'm going to be fortunate enough to be right here at ice level, right between the benches. And I had a chance last year to do Game 1 against the Minnesota Wild here. While the Blues weren't in the playoffs, I got to venture out a little bit, and it's great to experience different arenas. This is very unique. The whiteout, the passion, the smallness, the quaintness of this building. Some of our younger players, Joe, are going to get a good look at what this is all about.
It's going to be so exciting when the game starts here tonight. I had a coach once tell me in venues like this, and I played in some tough ones when we were in the playoffs, that when you feel the noise and you hear the energy, you know, what's to say they're not cheering for you? And they always would say that. So use that as energy to elevate your game. So you know that's going to be the message for these young kids here tonight. But without a doubt, this is going to be a memorable game, and you hope the Blues get off on this series on the right note.
You think it matters momentum-wise? I mean, it's been well documented that the Winnipeg Jets started out on fire, certainly one of the best teams in the NHL, and the Blues were at the bottom. Paul Maurice said it, the head coach of the Winnipeg Jets. We have not seen this hockey team, the St. Louis Blues, because the way that they've played in the last half of the year. Do you believe in the momentum that the Blues have versus the slow ending that the Winnipeg Jets had?
I don't believe in it. I really don't. I mean, I think it's something you can talk about, and I know that Craig Berube probably doesn't feel that way either. This is a completely new season. Both teams are starting out fresh, and really it's all about building momentum from this day forward. You know, Winnipeg, I've been on teams, I know you have too, Darren, where you're winning the first half of the year, you're taking it to all your opponents, and then you kind of get a little bit of a lull in the season. You almost get bored, right? At some stretch, you just got to find a motivation to win, and I think that's what we saw with Winnipeg and at Tampa at times this past year. But I know that, you know, without a doubt, it's just going to be something where the Blues need to come in here, establish their game right off the bat, because, again, it's going to come down to a big start here tonight.
Well, with big starts, we talk about big moments, goaltending being one of them. You've got a goaltender in Connor Hellebuyck that last year had 44 wins. Once again, you know, couldn't sustain that type of play. He's an excellent goaltender. He was a finalist for the Vezina, going up against a rookie goaltender in Jordan Binnington. At the NHL level, Jordan Binnington has never played in this rink before. Right. So I'm sure this morning he and Dave Alexander, the goalie coach for the Blues, will go over the nuances, the bounces, how active the boards are, just the sight lines. But I guess there would have to be a slight advantage to Connor Hellebuyck in this, knowing that he experienced last year's playoffs.
I think so, but I also want to throw, I mean, you're a goaltender, Darren. I mean, for a goaltender who's never seen the shooters that he's going to see tonight, and Blake Wheeler and Scheifele and Patrick Laine, one of the best shots in the National Hockey League, is that going to play to Jordan's advantage, the fact that these guys have never seen them before, or do you think maybe it'd be a disadvantage?
Those are always good questions. I mean, there's a lot of shooters going up against one guy, or one guy going up against a lot of tendencies and a lot of things. One thing I found out from Jordan Binnington, he's not been fazed by any of the league's best. I mean, going into places like Tampa Bay and winning, beating the good teams with all good shooters. I mean, Braden Point coming down, Kucherov coming down, and he doesn't seem fazed by it. So I would say no. I would say that there's no distinct advantage on either side of this. I do know that the Winnipeg Jets and their goalie coach will have a lot more video now. There's not a lot more of a sample size, at least, that they can go over. And as you know, with the playoffs, you get a clips of the goaltenders, what their tendencies are, a left-hand shot, a right-hand shot, where they're finding weaknesses. So they will have a better book than what other teams have had with them, for sure.
Yeah, well, I think, too, with Jordan, I think that his demeanor off the ice, we've all seen it, his composure, the ability to stay even keel. I think that's a great personality trait when you're talking about playoff hockey, because the emotions and the highs and lows, the peaks and the valleys, they're going to come and go very quickly. I think the emotionally unstable people, they can kind of get lost in the playoffs. And I think Jordan's just overall mental demeanor as he approaches not only hockey but his life, it seems, is going to play heavily to his advantage, I believe, here.
Another look at it here on the blue line. We'll take a gander. You know, yesterday with Dunn and Pietrangelo together, and Bouwmeester and Parayko good to go. as a shutdown pair, they'll likely see the Scheifele line as much as possible. And then beef on the bun on the third pairing. Really liking the Joel Edmondson, the Manitoba boy, and Robert Bortuzzo going head-to-head. It looks like the Blues have a lot of good matchups here. While you're on the road, maybe you're not so concerned with Ryan O'Reilly getting out there every single time Scheifele's out there, because there's going to be that mixing and matching and changing on the fly. But the defensive pairings look very strong for the Blues.
They do, too. I really agree. I think putting Joel Edmondson on the back end there with Robert Bortuzzo to match the heaviness of the Winnipeg Jets. And you mentioned the top 9 forwards, and no disrespect to the St. Louis Blues. I think the Winnipeg Jets maybe have the top 9 forwards in the West as far as depth goes. I think they have the experience. A lot of this group was in the Western Conference Finals last year, so they've been down this road before. And I think with the heaviness, you mentioned that this top line, this isn't a Patrick Kane type of first line where guys are going to dipsy-doodle, go in and out. This is a heavy line. The Scheifele, the Wheeler, and who else is over there? Kyle Connor. But the speed, the aggressiveness, and I think that with Joel Edmondson and Bortuzzo back there on that back end, to me, I think the bottom 2 pairs are interchangeable. I think with Bouwmeester and Parayko, that's probably your number 1. But then shortly behind that, I think Edmondson and Bortuzzo have proven they can play that heavy game, shutdown game, keep everything to the outside.
Don't you love getting ready for a playoff series?
Oh,
you break it down every which way. Now, let's go to Ryan O'Reilly and Mark Scheifele. I mean, 2 really intelligent players. And one thing about Mark Scheifele had a great playoff run last year, and I think he's set the record for most road goals with 9.
Yeah, he had 14 and 17 games.
Man, oh man, he's a guy that Ryan O'Reilly knows his tendencies and will pay attention to being on the defensive side of the puck there.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Ryan, I think he's been a Selke candidate. I can't see why he doesn't win the Selke this year. I think it's in his hands, and I think that he's excited. You know, he made the playoffs 2 years in Colorado, but that's going to be certainly a big, heavy matchup down the middle to keep an eye on with Ryan O'Reilly and Scheifele, and then you have, Little. You look at the forwards, and it really can get overwhelming at times, but I think we've also seen, Darren, and I don't know if you remember the game here in Winnipeg, the game the Blues won 1-0. Yep. Something happened to Laine early in that game.
Yeah,
we just did not see him after that.
Yeah, well, when Jordan Nolan was real physical on him, we'll show that clip tonight on Fox Sports Midwest for sure. Just how they played him. He was on fire, 5 goals in St. Louis, but very quiet down the stretch. We'll see what kind of Patrick Laine the Blues get, but I would still have to think that with one flick of the wrist, he can find his confidence again. So you've got to stay tight to him, make sure he doesn't get those opportunities. Pretty good sharpshooters with Vladdy playing his best hockey and of the season. Another great year for him. And speaking of flick of the wrist, that's a guy that Connor Hellebuck's going to be looking at a lot of video there, which you have to pay attention. Where's he scoring from? How's he shooting? Same thing with Jordan Binnington on Patrick Laine. You have to be aware of every single detail.
Absolutely. And with Vladimir Tarasenko, I love how he sets himself up in games. This is what great goal scorers do. A couple games ago, he put one just over the glove, like a sharpshooter shot, and then he came down a couple times later, and then he tries going low blocker. He's very, he's kind of elusive in a sense where his stick positioning and where he follows through isn't necessarily where the puck goes, and he mixes it up. He just doesn't go high. He goes low. Every now and then he'll try to sneak one through the 5-hole. He just loves to keep the goalies guessing. So Hellebuck with him has got his hands full here tonight.
Well, this is going to be an outstanding series here. I think a lot of people around the NHL are looking forward to this heavyweight matchup here. There's a lot of beef in the bun. There's a lot of speed. There's a lot of confidence and certainly swagger that the Blues have carried on to get into a playoff spot. 2 veteran coaches. I'm really looking forward to Craig Berube and his staff getting into the first playoffs with the Blues. And the game tonight, of course, we are in Manitoba. It is Central Time. We're in a good position there for a television side and the radio side. Pre-game show on Fox Sports Midwest will begin at 6 o'clock, a 1-hour pre-game show. Scott, Bernie, and Jamie Rivers will be on there on the pregame show on the television side, on the radio side as well. You are on
Y98 FM.
Oh, I like the way you did that.
6:30. Let's do it.
6:30, and you and Chris Kerber have the call, and it will be an electrifying one. Hopefully, we bring out the Zamboni.
Let's do it.
In this one right here, and
hopefully we get a couple holy jump-ins too.
I think we very, very well might. But the one thing that Craig Berube had mentioned to me a couple of days ago, and this is great for our fans as well, let's keep an even keel. We got to win 16 games. There's going to be some highs. There's going to be some lows. Let's keep it the way we've been keeping it. And he's been a very measured guy, and it has been great for the team because this is as even keel the hockey team as I've been around a long time. So looking forward to it, big guy. Enjoy the day. We'll watch the Winnipeg Jets skate. The Blues will be out in a little while as well. So enjoy your day, everybody. We look forward to Game 1 tonight here from Winnipeg. For Joe Vitale, I'm Darren Pang. Have a great day, everybody.